The shower head in our bathroom was covered in some mysterious gunk. I casually remarked, "This looks disgusting. Like dried up poop." Jacob immediately flew into a rage, yelling that I had a filthy mind and was projecting my perversions onto everything. Fuming, I secretly coated the shower head nozzle with pure capsaicin extract. That night, blood-curdling screams echoed from the bathroom. "My name is Ivy." The shower head had been malfunctioning for weeks. I decided to replace it since using the overhead rain shower for hair washing was becoming impractical. As I unscrewed the old fixture, a faint sewage-like odor hit me. Peering closer, I spotted a caramel-colored substance clinging to the inner nozzle, resembling melted toffee. Assuming it was mineral buildup from disuse, I scrubbed it clean before heading to our bedroom. Jacob was sprawled across the bed gaming on his tablet. I quipped, "Honey, our shower head looked like someone smeared poop on it." Without warning, Jacob hurled his tablet aside, his face flushing crimson as he roared, "Ivy, are you fucking insane?" We launched into a screaming match. "Did you actually do something gross with?" I began. But he cut me off. "You're the sicko obsessing over filth. Get psychiatric help instead of vomiting your perversions everywhere." He stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to rattle picture frames. My hands shook with fury. Since when did Jacob think he could pull this macho bullshit? I tried calling repeatedly, only to get voicemail. Finally, a connection that lasted 2 rings before he hung up. A text blazed across my screen, "Staying at Ethan's tonight. Don't contact me until you apologize." Apologize? For what? I barked out bitter laughter. He'd transformed into this rage monster and I'm supposed to beg forgiveness? My next call didn't even ring, he'd blocked my number. Taking a deep breath to suppress the rising anger in my chest, I dialed Ethan Taylor's number. As Jacob's childhood friend who'd practically shared underwear with him growing up, Ethan often came over for meals. Jacob had told me how Ethan always protected him from bullies during their scrawny school years. Whenever we fought, Ethan would patiently mediate without taking sides, which is why I respected him. The call connected halfway through the first ring. "Ivy?" Keeping my voice steady, I summarized the situation. Ethan responded immediately with genuine concern. "Jacob's completely in the wrong here. Don't worry. I'll straighten him out tonight. By tomorrow, I'll make him grovel with an apology." His earnest tone dissolved half my fury. While Jacob could be irresponsible, at least his best friend had integrity. Hanging up, I sighed. Had Jacob's work stress become unbearable lately? We'd talk properly when he got home. Reaching for the tablet Jacob had tossed on the bed, I started browsing showerhead options when a text message notification flashed. "Ethan, finally no restrictions tonight. Time for some real fun, winky face." I blinked. Jacob had left his account logged in, assuming they were planning another gaming marathon. I almost dismissed it. Those two became possessed during gaming sessions, shouting at screens until dawn, emerging next morning with raccoon eyes and zombie complexions. We'd fought about it countless times until they reduced their all-nighters from weekly to monthly. Jacob's otherwise reliable nature reassured me. Despite his looks, he avoided female company and mostly stayed home. Gaming with Ethan seemed harmless enough. Besides, he'd always become extra affectionate afterward, bringing breakfast or surprise gifts. My finger hovered over the logout button when another message popped up. "Ethan, installed a high-pressure showerhead at my place. Bringing some new buddies to test it out tonight. Ethan, just talked to Ivy. She's clueless, even cleaned the pipes for us. Next time we can go straight in. Ethan, God." The thrill of doing this under your wife's nose. Air froze in my lungs as Jacob's typing indicator lit up. "She's as clueless as a rock." Last time I couldn't help moaning. She thought I was just getting too hyped up during the game. Ha! God, I envy your single life. If it weren't for being the only male heir in 3 generations needing to carry on the family line, I'd never have gotten married. Once she's pregnant, my duty's done. No more sneaking around then. Is that supposedly amazing college guy coming? I want to try him too. My fingers went slack. The tablet crashed onto the bedsheets. The world spun as blood roared in my ears. Every overlooked detail suddenly sharpening into focus. Midnight shower noises. Those strange grunts from the game room. Jacob only initiating intimacy during my ovulation window. My trembling fingers hovered over the screen recorder when his WeChat logged out. My phone buzzed. Hubby flashed across the screen. I stared until my nails drew blood from my palms. Turns out rage crystallizes into ice-cold clarity. I answered with steady hands. Hey babe. What took so long? Jacob's voice cracked with false cheer. Jacob. You've got some nerve pulling this disappearing act. I snapped. Sweetness dripping from every syllable. Audible relief colored his chuckle. My bad. Princess. I'll make it up tomorrow. Swear. You'd better. Love you to the moon? Moi. The bathroom reeked of bleach and shame. Those suspicious stains. His panicked scrubbing, it all made sense now. Jacob was cheating. With his gym buddy. Possibly multiple someones. I choked back bile imagining Ethan's sweat cooling on my sheets as Jacob pretended to spoon me afterward. The mirror showed a ghost staring back. How proudly I'd boasted about my different husband, the man who never glanced at other women. Turns out he's different all right. My marriage license was just a breeding permit. This divorce would be nuclear. But first, Jacob would learn what real suffering tasted like. I grabbed my phone and dialed Ivy. Hey Ivy? Her bright voice echoed through the receiver. Remember that devil pepper serum you mentioned? Send me the link. My tone held lethal calmness. Jesus. What do you need that for? She gasped. Last time that pervert who stole underwear got just one drop. His skin necrotized. That stuff's nuclear. Disinfection. I cut her off. Staring at the shower head gleaming in the bathroom light. Certain stains require specialized treatment. The link appeared before I finished speaking. My lips curved. A local supplier, 20 minutes from my brownstone. Perfect. The clandestine shop reeked of chemical burn. The twitchy owner kept rambling about 99.9% purity and elephants crying. I smiled wider. Stopping by an electronics store for night vision micro cameras on my way home. Every corner of our townhouse got discreet surveillance. Gloved hands methodically unscrewed the shower head, soaking every crevice in translucent hellfire. The rubber seal drank the serum like parched earth. Let them play their games. Jacob returned at sunset next day, reeking of whiskey and Chanel No. 5. Babe. He brandished a takeout box. Waited 40 minutes for your favorite crab roe dumplings. His arms reeked of fermented deceit as he nuzzled my neck. I messed up. Work's been insane, Ethan chewed me out all night. I'll never lose my temper again. Swear. The fresh love bite peeking above his collar screamed otherwise. I forgive you. I accepted the lukewarm peace offering. Jacob's relief stank worse than his lies. Knew you'd understand. You're the best. Bae. Frowning suddenly. I sighed. My London trip got moved up, it's during your birthday week. Maybe I should cancel. No. He choked on his performative dismay. Clearing his throat. He squeezed my shoulders. Career comes first. I'll survive. The cameras caught his triumphant smirk before he turned away. His voice nearly cracked with urgency before he cleared his throat. Ahem. Ivy. Work comes first. For my birthday. I can celebrate alone. I paused thoughtfully before responding. All right then. Sorry to disappoint you. No regrets. Ivy. I can take care of myself. Jacob insisted. His eyes suspiciously bright. The following days revealed Jacob's uncharacteristic enthusiasm. He rose at dawn to make breakfast. Fought to do laundry. And even packed my luggage, a stark contrast to his usual complaints of sudden stomachaches whenever chores were mentioned. Our home security cameras captured every telltale moment of his eagerness. Like when he crouched on the balcony whispering to Ethan, soon as she's gone. Yeah. Invite the whole crew. Especially that college athlete, clearly. Someone couldn't wait for his birthday after 7 days of abstinence. My daily health tonics had left him practically drooling with anticipation. Funny coincidence. Jacob. I've been counting down too. At the bustling train station, Jacob clung to me at security check, nuzzling my neck like a lovesick puppy. Every hour without you'll feel like years. Ivy. Text me your return time, I'll be here waiting. I gently stroked his back. I'll miss you too. You should head home now. Sweetheart. He released me with theatrical reluctance, glancing backward every 3 steps until swallowed by the crowd. Smiling, I entered the station, then doubled back 30 seconds later. Through the glass, I watched Jacob practically skip across the plaza before vanishing, settling in a corner near arrivals. I monitored the birthday surprise squad group chat exploding with messages. Ivy. We're en route. Jacob's one lucky bastard. Free trip and lodging? You're a saint. My fingers flew across the screen, waiting at station. Thanks for coming. The 10 Williams relatives leeching their way here would make this birthday unforgettable. To prevent Margaret from spilling the beans, I'd blocked her number in Jacob's phone under some obscure contact. While waiting, I checked our home feed. Jacob had already returned, eagerly rummaging through our closet with his ass in the air, clearly practiced at this routine. He emerged with the black silk negligee he'd gifted me last year, then began slathering foundation at my vanity. Fucking disgusting, I muttered. But the real shock came next. He pulled a wig from the hidden compartment at the bottom of the closet and carefully put it on. Jacob stood before the full-length mirror after his dramatic transformation, preening and posing. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I'd never believe the creature on the surveillance feed was my husband. The doorbell rang. Jacob swayed his hips as he hurried to answer, though I'd mentally prepared myself. The scene still shocked me to the core. 7 men filed in carrying supplies, beer, crayfish, and a birthday cake. At first glance, they seemed like ordinary guests arriving for a celebration. But their eyes lit up like predators spotting prey the moment they saw Jacob's outfit. Ethan led the pack. Before the door fully closed, he grabbed Jacob for a sloppy French kiss. The air filled with obscene slurping sounds as the others grew restless behind him. They dumped their offerings on the floor without care. Metallic clinks of belt buckles and zippers rising like a perverse symphony. Within moments, the living room became a tangle of pale limbs. Bile rose in my throat. Yet I kept watching. Just as Jacob disappeared under the writhing mass, he suddenly clutched his buttocks and shrieked. Stop. Not yet. Groans of protest erupted. What the hell? I'm already naked here. You promised we could do whatever we wanted today. We brought all this stuff, you can't back out now. Ethan oozed fake charm, patting Jacob's rear. Easy boys. Our girl here's just particular about cleanliness. Let me help her freshen up first. Then we'll all have proper fun. He steered Jacob toward the bathroom, his greasy smile making my skin crawl. My pulse quickened. This was it. The moment I'd been waiting for. The station announcement blared overhead. I hurried toward the exit where a boisterous group of elderly tourists in neon windbreakers approached. At the center stood Margaret, my mother-in-law, preening in the red cheongsam I'd bought her, my gold bracelet glinting on her wrist. Margaret, you're so lucky to have such a successful son. A woman fawned. Bringing us all to the big city. My mother-in-law puffed up like a peacock. My Jacob was the first from our town to get into a top-tier university. Makes 6 figures now. I forced a smile through gritted teeth. Welcome everyone. The shuttle's waiting outside. Margaret's smile vanished when she saw me. She yanked me aside, hissing. Ivy. You paid for this trip with your own money, right? You didn't touch my son's accounts? I nodded obediently. Don't worry, Margaret. I'm covering all the expenses this time. Not a single penny from Jacob. Margaret's eyes flickered with barely concealed glee before she schooled her features into disapproval. TSK. You youngsters can't save money to save your lives. How will you manage your household like this? Give me the funds, I'll keep them safe for you. A faint smile played on my lips as I met her gaze meaningfully. We should get going. The relatives are waiting. The older woman cleared her throat awkwardly, then raised her voice for maximum audience reach. Ivy. How could you make everyone take the train? Don't you know how exhausting that is? I almost laughed. 3 hours by high-speed rail versus unpredictable flight delays that might ruin my carefully planned schedule? You're absolutely right. Margaret. I'll book return flights for everyone. The chorus began instantly. Maggie. Your daughter-in-law's so dutiful. Wish my girl listened half as well. Blessed woman, successful son and obedient wife. Margaret preened like a prize peacock. Of course. In this family. My word is law. Why? In another era. I'd be running the manor house. She snapped her fingers at me. Quit dawdling. Lead the way. Right this way. Margaret. I kept my eyes downcast. Anticipation curling in my gut. This woman lived for appearances. I wondered how she'd handle the spectacle I'd orchestrated. As our convoy sped along the highway, Margaret's nasal voice carried from the front seat. Are Jacob's about to become director? His salary will hit, she flourished 5 manicured fingers dramatically. $500,000? Aunt Linda gasped. Add another 0. The SUV filled with odd whispers. I retreated to the back row, earbuds silencing their chatter. My phone screen showed the live feed from our master bathroom. Jacob knelt naked on marble tiles, trembling as Ethan dismantled the showerhead with practiced ease. Bile rose in my throat. I forced myself to watch, unblinking, as Ethan pressed the cold metal pipe against. Ah! Jacob's scream pierced through my headphones. Ethan chuckled darkly. I haven't even turned the water on yet. He thrust deeper, the pipe disappearing another inch into screaming flesh. Hot, Jacob's face was ghostly pale. Sweat pouring down his forehead. His hand instinctively reached to pull out the tube, only to be slapped away by Ethan. Stop moving. Ethan snapped impatiently. I'll turn the water on now. The click of the faucet handle echoed loudly through the bathroom. No water flowed. Ethan shook the hose in confusion, causing Jacob to whimper through gritted teeth. Weird, water's out? Let go. Jacob forced out each syllable through clenched jaws. Only then did Ethan notice something wrong. Leaning closer, his eyes widened in panic. Jacob? Why, your face looks like powdered chalk. Jacob could only tremble and point at the hose. Ethan fumbled to remove it, triggering a blood-curdling scream. Slow, Jacob's body convulsed violently. Relax. Stop clenching so tight. Ethan barked, sweat dripping down his temples. Can't control, Jacob choked out between sobs. Then brace yourself. Ethan gritted his teeth and yanked hard, ahhhhhh. The scream became so piercing I instinctively turned down my phone volume. Noticing we'd arrived home, Margaret led the crowd straight inside while I lingered behind clutching my device. Ethan stared at Jacob's backside in horror. Holy shit. It's swollen like a brown sugar muffin. Burn, water. Now, Jacob curled fetal on the tiles, hands clamped over inflamed flesh, wheezing through pain as sweat soaked his hair. Ethan frantically twisted every faucet, hearing only hollow clanks from dry pipes. Your water's cut. Wait, I'll grab bottled water from the living room. I'd made sure to shut off the main valve earlier to maximize the capsaicin's potency. Ethan stumbled toward the living room where I glimpsed other men already entangled, bodies writhing across the dining table, sofa, and rug. Gasping, grunting, colliding. The scene reeked of debauchery. Just as the front door swung open, the door burst open. Jacob. I brought your favorite, Margaret froze mid-sentence, her wrinkled face turning ashen. Ah. Her blood-curdling scream halted the writhing mass of limbs on the living room floor. Every head swiveled toward the doorway. The shocked relatives in the foyer gaped at the scene, their jaws hitting the marble tiles. Showtime. I squeezed through the crowd of relatives, pressing trembling hands to my cheeks. Who are you people? My Oscar-worthy scream echoed through the mansion. This is breaking and entering. I'm calling the police right now. Pandemonium erupted. Naked men scrambled over each other like cockroaches exposed to light, babbling excuses drowned out by my continued shrieking. Jacob invited us. It's just a misunderstanding. My phone vanished from my grasp. Ethan stood before me shirtless. Panic twisting his handsome features. Ivy. Wait. Let me explain. I don't want to hear it. I covered my ears dramatically. Tears materializing on command. Ethan, Jacob considered you his best friend, my voice broke convincingly. The tech billionaire awkwardly shielded his groin with a throw pillow. This isn't what it looks like. Then what is it? I wailed with enough anguish to freeze the entire room. Today's Jacob's birthday. I planned this whole surprise party with family. I gestured wildly at the recording smartphones. And you bring these shady people into our home? I whirled toward Margaret, clutching her Chanel sleeve. Margaret. The tabloids will crucify us. What if people think Jacob's involved in this depravity? The matriarch finally snapped out of her stupor. Her designer-clad frame trembled as she took in the viral-worthy spectacle, neighbors peering through windows. Cousins live streaming to Instagram. For a woman who'd donated wings to metropolitan museums just to get naming rights. This social annihilation was worse than death. Where was Jacob? My missing husband's absence spoke volumes. Margaret's furious gaze locked onto the obvious scapegoat. After all, what Park Avenue socialite would believe her Ivy League-bred son preferred Wall Street brokers over his own wife? Ethan. She brandished a Manolo Blahnik stiletto like a dagger. I treated you like family. Godmother. Please. He turned to flee. My Louboutin accidentally hooked his ankle. Thud. He crashed heavily to the floor. Forehead smacking against the hardwood. Margaret's rage flared hotter seeing this. She pounced, straddling Ethan's torso while swinging her stiletto in a vicious rain of blows. Thwack. 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 Each strike landed with sickening precision, the dull thud of sharp heels meeting flesh intercut with Ethan's howls. The sounds made my scalp tingle with savage delight. Mom. Stop. He shrieked, thrashing beneath her. In his panic, his shove carried too much force. Margaret stumbled backward, lower back slamming against the dining table's edge. Her eyes rolled wide as she collapsed. What could I, a terrified delicate flower, possibly do? I chose ear-splitting screams while darting for cover. Help. Murder. The Williams family relatives snapped into motion. You animal. Roared Uncle Number 3. Charging forward with cousins in tow. Daring to strike your elder. Ethan barely lifted his head before being dogpiled. Fists. Palms. Shoe soles. The symphony of violence crescendoed around his curled form. Please. Mercy. He begged through arms shielding his battered face. Seizing chaos as my ally, I delivered precise stomps to strategic soft areas. His agonized gyah briefly pierced the cacophony before disappearing under renewed kicks. Across the room, Ethan's cronies scrambled for escape. One goon tripped over his own feet, face planting with cartoonish splat. Blood and shattered teeth sprayed across the floorboards. I melted into the crowd, serene smile hidden behind trembling hands. The cops arrived as Ethan's gurgles grew faint. My tears erupted on cue, shoulders quaking like autumn leaves. Officers. He killed her. Law enforcement's hardened gazes catalogued the war zone, overturned furniture, glittering glass shards, Margaret's motionless form, and the bloodied pulp formerly known as Ethan. Start talking. Sniffles punctuated my fragile account. He pushed Margaret, and Jacob's missing. I think he, sobs choked off further speech. My delicate fingers hiding vindictive triumph. Ethan seized his moment, spitting crimson as he croaked. Lies. I'm innocent. Help me. The officer gave Ethan an icy glare. Where's her husband? He's in the bathroom. Ethan stumbled toward the bathroom. The officer's close behind. My heart pounded as I followed, equal parts nervous and exhilarated. The key player was about to make his entrance. The bathroom door crashed open. Jacob. I shrieked with manufactured horror. There lay Jacob, naked and motionless as a dead dog on the tile floor. His pallid face tinged blue around the lips. I turned blazing eyes toward Ethan, my voice trembling with feigned grief. You killed Margaret. Now you've murdered my husband. Ethan gaped like a stranded fish. I didn't. He just collapsed. The officer snapped handcuffs around his wrists with finality. Save it for the station. Pretty boy. Kneeling beside Jacob's unconscious form, I buried my face in his clammy shoulder, hiding the smile stretching my cheeks. The ambulance arrived within minutes. 3 hours later, the lead surgeon emerged with a grave expression. Severe chemical burns to the anal region, he said, removing his mask. Extensive mucosal necrosis. We've performed multiple irrigations and debridements. But, his gaze dropped to my trembling hands. There's significant risk of temporary incontinence. With improper aftercare leading to recurrent infections, a waited pause. We may eventually need to discuss ostomy options. I bowed my head. Shoulders shaking with carefully suppressed glee. Pity. The bastard got to keep his asshole, for now. When Jacob finally stirred in his hospital bed, he found Margaret and me hovering like concerned angels. His bleary eyes focused on his mother. Mom? Where's Ethan? Margaret trembled with rage. That monster's in custody. Don't worry. Baby, I'll make sure he rots in prison. What? Jacob jerked upright. Then collapsed with a pained gasp. My sweet boy. Margaret fussed over him. Tears splashing the starch-white sheets. I know you're furious. How dare that bastard do this to you? I interjected softly. Honey, when they found you, my gaze drifted meaningfully southward. The police saw everything. The whole family knows. Margaret's face purpled. We're suing for every penny. Medical bills. Emotional distress. That too bit. No. Jacob's voice cracked. Ethan didn't mean, we go way back. I bit my lip until it bled. Still protecting his lover? Did he think this would stay secret? Jacob, I whispered tearfully. Every cousin saw you like that. If we don't press charges, what will people say about the Williams family? Margaret froze. The color drained from Jacob's face as realization struck. The door swung open. A detective fixed Jacob with a steely gaze. Mr. Williams? We need to discuss certain, intimate details from the crime scene. Jacob. Ethan testified that you actively invited them to your home. Is this true? That's a damn lie. Margaret exploded before Jacob could respond. Why would my son invite those perverts? Officer. This is clearly slander. She turned to Jacob with expectant eyes. Right. Son? Jacob avoided eye contact. Nervously fidgeting. Margaret grew frantic. Jacob. Say something. Her son shook his head almost imperceptibly. See? Margaret's voice rose triumphantly. Ethan's the depraved monster here. 30 years old and still unmarried, obviously a deviant. Officer. Doesn't this constitute defamation? Shouldn't his sentence be increased? Jacob tugged her sleeve. Mom, please. The officer's expression shifted. Ethan provided chat records proving you initiated the invitation. Moreover, he paused meaningfully. Your relationship involved unusual elements. Unusual? Margaret froze like she'd been electrocuted. Jacob. The officer continued. Perjury carries legal consequences. The evidence is irrefutable. Under mounting pressure, Jacob finally collapsed forward. Whispering. I invited them. Ethan committed no crime. Then explain your collapse in the bathroom. The officer pressed. Jacob suddenly locked eyes with me. Desperation in his voice. Officer. Could I speak with my wife privately? After assessing my calm demeanor and Margaret's shell-shocked state, the officer nodded. 10 minutes. Margaret trembled violently. Son, how could? Mom? Leave. Jacob closed his bloodshot eyes. But I'm your mother. She shrieked hysterically. Jacob ripped out his foreneedle. Blood gushing down his hand. Want to watch me bleed out? No. I'm going. Margaret stumbled backward, nearly tripping over the door threshold. Sunlight streamed through the window as I leaned casually against the bed frame, my shadow draping over Jacob's ashen face. 5 minutes left. Darling. I waved my phone displaying the countdown timer. Jacob's jaw clenched. When did you figure it out? Ivy? I tilted my head innocently. Figure what out? Stop playing dumb. He slammed his fist on the mattress. For lines swinging wildly. What did you put in that damn pipe? I nearly died in there. I covered my mouth. Eyes widening in feigned innocence. Oh honey. Whatever are you talking about? I don't understand a word. Jacob trembled with rage. Teeth grinding as he spat. Ivy. This is intentional harm. I'll have the police arrest you right now. Go ahead, I smiled sweetly. Leisurely pulling out my phone. Perfect timing, I've got something to show them too. The screen lit up with HD surveillance footage clearly showing Jacob's compromising position with multiple men. Forgot to mention I installed cameras. Sweetheart. I swiped to the next clip. Crystal clear quality, even captured that birthmark on your left butt cheek. Jacob's face turned ashen as I continued. Do you think your colleagues would be concerned if these went viral in the company group chat? Especially with your promotion review next week? You bitch. He lunged at me but collapsed in pain when his stitches pulled. Looking down at his crumpled form, I stated coldly. Divorce. All assets to me. You leave with nothing. Over my dead body. Then tomorrow morning, the entire corporate office gets front row seats to your X-rated performance. Wonder how the board would feel about their future directors' extracurricular activities? Jacob deflated like a punctured balloon onto the hospital bed. Lips quivering silently. The phone alarm chimed. I beamed at him. Time's up, the officers should be here any minute. Oh. And I've backed up 100 copies of our home videos. They're set to auto-send daily unless I cancel them. Behave now. Darling. When police arrived, Jacob confessed everything. At the question about his restroom collapse, he stammered. It was too intense. The officer paused mid-note, shooting me a pitying glance. After they left, I wheeled in the prepared wheelchair. Margaret screeched. Ivy. What are you doing? Taking your son to finalize our divorce. Of course. I parked the chair bedside with a cheerful click. Come on, Jacob. Let's strike while the iron's hot. But, my medical leave documents, Jacob protested weakly. Better today than tomorrow. I produced a neatly organized folder from my bag. Marriage certificate. IDs. Household registry, even pre-printed divorce papers. All set. Margaret hopped about like agitated poultry. Jacob. You can't do this. What will the relatives say? When her son remained silent, she grabbed my hand and dropped to her knees with a thud. Ivy, please. He made a mistake. Give him another chance. This was my first time seeing the Williams matriarch bow, quite the spectacle. I coldly withdrew my hand from her grasp. Jacob. Let's go. We don't want to miss the ceremony time. When gentle persuasion failed, Margaret immediately switched tactics. Oh, I'm so dizzy. She collapsed toward the hospital bed with acting so terrible it bordered on comical. Mom. Jacob's eyes lit up like he'd found salvation. Ivy. Look, my mom fainted. Maybe we should reschedule. I glanced at Margaret's violently fluttering eyelashes and smiled. Relax. We're in a hospital. She won't die. But if you keep stalling, I guarantee you'll experience social suicide. Jacob could only tremble his way into the wheelchair. As I pushed him out, Margaret's dramatic moans of "Io, Io," followed us down the hallway. 1 month later, outside the courthouse, I clutched the freshly printed divorce decree. Jacob suddenly grabbed my purse strap. Voice shaking. Ivy. Delete the video now. Of course, I chirped sweetly. Stepping back. With theatrical flourish, I opened the surveillance footage and tapped Select All, followed by Send. Jacob's face palmed in horror. What are you doing? Undo it. His shriek drew curious stares. I took off running, sticking out my tongue. Nah, since when does revenge play fair? The automatic send to Jacob's corporate email had already triggered before we entered the courthouse. That little performance? Just me sending bonus copies to the Williams family group chat. My phone exploded with notifications. Williams family love group messages hit 99+ instantly. Uncle, holy mother of pearl. What kind of freak show you running? Jacob? Aunt, sweet baby Jesus. Isn't that suit-wearing guy Mrs. Johnson's son-in-law? We had dinner with them last month. Cousin, 'cause getting wild with the boys. Playing both sides? Stuck between two dudes? Man sandwich? Collecting dudes like Pokemon? Margaret, at Ivy you scheming bitch, delete this. It's all fake. Final message uncle, at Jacob your mom's having a stroke. Get home now. Humming happily. I exited the group chat. My cousin's DMs blew up. "Cuz. Your ex-Mil's face is all twisted. Drooling like a baby. Doctors say she'll be bedridden forever." I sent a laughing emoji. Ah, what a beautiful day. Jacob's karma arrived swiftly. His company fired him for gross misconduct before sunset. The cherry on top? His rival Ethan bought trending hashtag. Hashtag corporate execs wild orgy video leaked. The scandalous video instantly rocketed to the top of the local trending list. Jacob Williams, once a respected corporate hotshot, had become a pariah with nowhere to hide. Homeless and desperate. He discovered his property had long been transferred to my name. The realtor mentioned the open house had non-stop foot traffic, suggesting we could push the price even higher. With no options left, Jacob shamelessly approached Ethan. What he didn't know was Ethan's burning hatred for him. After that leaked video circulated, Ethan's fitness coaches fled fearing retaliation. Members demanded refunds en masse. And Ethan's gym went bankrupt overnight. When enemies meet, sparks fly. The moment Ethan spotted Jacob, he grabbed a dumbbell and hurled it. "How dare you show your face here? You ruined my life." Jacob fought back fiercely. Their brawl landed both in the ER, ironically unable to afford treatment as they traded curses from adjacent gurneys. Months later, Jacob resurfaced in tabloid news. Grotesque photos showed him in cheap lingerie posing suggestively on a motel bed, with some geriatric client clutching cooking oil in the doorway. Turns out he'd been monetizing explicit content until authorities caught him. The final headline declared his decade-long prison sentence for distributing obscene materials. The comments section exploded. Tested positive for HIV last year. Was intentionally spreading it to others. Worst hookup ever. Loose as a goose and literally shit the bed during. My comprehensive STD tests came back clean. Surviving this dumpster fire of a human being must have used up all my lifetime's quota of bad luck. From here on out, nothing but blue skies ahead.